All right, hello everyone. My name is Jacob Haap. I am the CEO of an early stage startup out of Berlin called Anomaly Science. I'm a Web3 architect specializing in tokenization, and today I'm going to tell you about why no one cares about your NFT project. Now, before I get into that, I'll give a little bit about my own background, and I had more of an interesting start in Web3. Out of all places, my start in Web3 came from the game Minecraft. The way that this worked out is when I was about 11 years old or so, I had a Minecraft server that I ran with my friends. And we were thinking that we wanted to accept donations to fund the server bills because we were 11-year-olds without money. How else were we supposed to do that? And we were thinking, okay, let's fund the server. Except there was one problem. We were underage. So no payment processors would let us use any fiat currencies to fund this, which was a horrible situation for us. And we were trying to think of what possible solutions could fix that for us. And along the way, we discovered Bitcoin. And that was my entry to Web3, because what Bitcoin offered was something that the traditional internet and the traditional standard of everything didn't. It was the ability to use something that would solve a problem for me, regardless of age, regardless of anything. Bitcoin didn't care who I was or how old I was. It was just a solution that worked. Now let's fast forward a little bit. Let's get to where I got my entry into NFTs. This came around 2018 with the purchase of, as some of you might know, CryptoKitties, one of the first big NFT projects. Purchased that one back in February of 2018, and since then I've been very active in Web3, and that gets me to what I wanted to address to start this off, and that is this. Some of you may have heard a while back this headline saying that 95% of NFTs are now worthless. Now, as a lot of us are here at this Web3 NFT conference right now, and as many of you have NFTs yourself, I'm sure we could safely say that this isn't entirely true. But I had been wondering, why are people saying that 95% of NFTs are worthless? What is with this? And to start, I want to draw attention to this. Now, I want you to think for a moment, what could this arrow be representing? And it has to do with something that applies to a lot of NFT projects. And that is the fact that they all like facing the same direction. Now, this isn't to discredit any of these collections. There's some of the top collections out there. And I apologize if this is the art that belongs to anyone. The total thought I put into picking these pictures was opening up the marketplace and selecting the lowest floor price ones just to show the picture. But that point aside, it exposes something interesting. And that is the fact that these projects are all going for a similar format. All of them are facing that same direction. All of them are profile pictures. And that had me thinking, is there a reason that all these projects are attempting the same thing? Or are they just trying the same format, like a copy and paste one, because it worked for other ones? They think it'll work for everyone else? Now, these are some of the examples of ones that has worked out for. Everyone knows about Bored Apes, everyone knows about punks, everyone knows about Punky Penguins. However, for all of these success stories, there's all of these. Now, who here can find the real Bored Ape in the picture? And to spoil it, none of them are. Because for all of these projects out there, there are all of these copycats. Again, getting to this idea that people are going to find the format that works, and they're going to copy it. So if you look at the pictures on here, you see, okay, someone saw the success of Bored Apes, and they thought, okay, why not more ape profile pictures? It worked once, why can't we do this? Now, if you see, all of them are looking the same direction again, except for that one special one that decided to look left for whatever reason, or, yeah, I can respect that. But for the most part, they're not doing anything interesting. They're all focused on one thing, and that thing is making the line go up, which is exposing a really interesting problem among everyone in Web3 and among NFTs, and that is the idea that we're also focused on trying to make a big return on the collections. If your entire focus with the collection is being able to make the biggest return, being able to mint out your whole 10,000 collection for the next 1,000x, all focused on being able to have the next big return for the line go up, we get to a point where we encounter this. Everyone looks at NFTs and they're like, oh, you own that monkey picture? Or what if I screenshot it? Or what if I right-click it? It gets to this very bad place where people don't think about what's actually going on with the tech behind it. They just think, oh, what are these tokens? And the reason I bring this up is I want to think about why is this important to think about. And when I get back to the topic of why no one cares about your NFT project, it's a reason like that. No one cares about NFT projects, at least for those 95% of them, because no one's doing anything unique or interesting. All of these projects, they're trying to copy the exact same copy and paste format. And here's why that is very harmful, and I'll get into how you can actually get people to care about your projects. So first off, anyone in the general public, if you talk to them about NFTs, one of the first things that come to mind for them is the idea of, oh, it's those scam monkey JPEGs. And while, okay, that doesn't seem too harmful for a lot of people, it could be really bad if you get to something like this. One way that NFTs, that at least I believe could be very useful, is in the application of stuff like identity solutions. So let's pretend that anyone's government decides to start supporting a tokenized ID system and they unroll tokenized passports. Now, if you're someone who doesn't know anything about Web3 or the tech that goes into this, and then you go into your passport office because you want a passport, and then you hear all of a sudden that they're using tokenized passports with NFTs, and you're thinking NFT equals scam monkey picture, is that something you really want to trust? Do you want to trust your government to use that technology responsibly for something as vital as your ID document? This is getting into how do you make people care? Because it's not just about the NFT collections or the projects, it's about the way that we look at the technology as a whole. Now, one of the first ways that I want to get into this, and I had the same topic back at an event in Tallinn a few weeks ago, and I had a chance to speak with a person in charge of Tiny Vikings. And they said one way to go about it is get people to create a cult around your project. And that worked out well for them, and that worked out well for a lot of other projects. However, let's talk about a lot of the historical projects around this. Now, one of the really historical NFT projects that everyone is aware of is CryptoPunks. But let's look at what they actually did that's unique. Why do we still talk about them? What's special about it? These were one of the first examples of NFTs actually being used. The idea of non-fungible tokens was very unclear at the time. This helped pioneer that. To the next one, again with CryptoKitties. NFTs were relatively a new thing. And what they did is they are the first real case of the ERC 721 standard being used. This is what got people into standardization. Next, we have name services. The Ethereum name service, the unstoppable domains. This is getting into the idea that NFTs can have other utility behind it, more than just like a profile picture or art or something else. It's the idea that, hey, you hold our token now, this is ownership over a Web3 native domain. Or what about something like this? This is an NFT, it has a picture like everything else, sure, but it's a virtual racehorse. You could use this in virtual races, you can earn from it. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes with it. It's getting me to this idea. If you want to make people care, you do something unique. Because for all of the Bored Ape success stories out there, there's the thousands that tried to copy their same format and it didn't work. The way that you make people care is by using the technology in a unique way. So the reason I brought up something like CryptoPunks, the reason I brought up CryptoKitties, is they did something that people hadn't done before. And the way that I see that is they utilized the technology in a way it hadn't been arranged before. We wouldn't have the idea of non-fungible tokens as they are now if it were not for CryptoPunks. We would not have the standardization we have now if it was not for CryptoKitties. And this is what I'm trying to get to, is when anyone's going out there trying to think to create a new project, what are they going to do? Most people right now, they're thinking, hey, let's create a profile picture or an art collection, and let's start a community. They're all probably thinking to start with the same mint price, going for the same number in the collection, and it's building up to this same problem. People have this idea of a copy and paste format in their head that if you do X, Y, and Z, your project will succeed. But it's not going to succeed if you don't do anything unique or special. So that was why no one cares about your NFT project. If anyone does have a few questions, I'd be happy to answer. If not, I have my socials on there. You'd be happy to reach out to any of those. I could answer any questions. You could also scan the QR code for socials. It's either socials or a wallet drainer. You decide which one it is.